Alright, so, I figured this would be a fun video to do after I've done basically 2 other topic videos giving out wild theories and, just thinking out loud and all that. So I decided, you know what? I want to do a video just for fun after doing 2 past videos just kind of like either airing grievances or giving out theories that give me the heebie-jeebies. So yeah, I thought this would be a fun one. And again, it goes with the cartoon theme of Star, Owl House, now we're doing Amphibia. So yeah, let's dive right into it with this video, which is, as you can see from the title, Can Kong Survive on Amphibia? Yeah, just a fun idea of what if Kong was on Amphibia? Like, what would be the kind of ramifications of, like, Kong being on an Amphibia, and what would that be like if he was there? Now, while you're thinking, why are you doing this, Multi? Why are you doing this? Mostly because A, it's fun, and B, it's like, well, this is no idea going to be a... Yeah, this is just an idea I had because I had actually just reread through Kingdom Kong again, and I've been thinking about Amphibia because of the final season, so I thought to myself, screw it. Let's do a fun video as like, what if Kong was on Amphibia? What would that be like? What would the ramifications be like if Kong was on Amphibia? And when you really think about it, Amphibia is not too dissimilar from Skull Island. It's really not his home. It's more marshy, yes. It's more like marsh and swampland. But there is a lot of marsh and swampland on Skull Island, to be fair. But it's not too dissimilar. The habitat is not too dissimilar from Skull Island. So I wouldn't say that could Kong survive on Amphibia. It's more like, can Amphibia survive Kong with with him there? That's the scary part. Like, that's the fun part, is that could Amphibia survive Kong living on Amphibia? It's a big enough kingdom. It's a big enough world. There's a lot of wildlife he could eat. Remember, this is for reference. This is like Skull Island kind of Kong. So, this is like a Kong that would be probably around, like, I'd say, like the Skull Island movie. Not Godzilla vs. Kong height, but more like Skull Island size. So yeah, he could just be out there just living his life, and it wouldn't be too dissimilar. The hostile wildlife that's all around, yeah, it's not too... Again, it's basically Skull Island. Just instead of Skull Islanders, you have amphibian people walking around. So let's talk about, like I said, the environment. Let's talk about the environment first. So like I've been saying, environment's not too far from Skull Island. Only difference is that it's a lot more marshy, it's a lot more like wetlands, it's a lot more like swamps, and yeah, Kong's home does have that, but it's on a smaller scale. So Kong would be kind of wandering around like these swampy areas, places where he'd get stuck, or places where it would be hard for him to like move around in and like maneuver. But Kong, as we all know, is a thinking animal, so Kong would easily be like, all right, this is a new thing, so I will try to, he'll like learn how to survive there. He didn't survive living on Skull Island that long as a baby by not just being stupid. He's going to learn to adapt really fast, because that's what, not just what he'd do, but most primates, when they're put into a new, home, they basically survive and adapt in a new territory. That's what all animals do. Florida, the home of a vast majority of invasive species, adapt really fast. So if Kong, if is anything, he is an invasive species in this area. So when you have that kind of territory and that kind of terrain, Kong's going to be a little outmaneuvered, but he'll learn real quick how to get around that. Let's also talk about the wildlife. Here's the other big thing. You've got all kinds of crazy animals. Pretty much the herons are considered like the apex predator for the most part. So the herons would probably be like his skull crawlers. Only difference is the herons can fly. So the herons would be the biggest problem for him, but the other animals would be, giant venomous snakes, giant spiders, all kinds of stuff. Again, stuff Kong would probably see on Skull Island, and stuff he would probably smash into bits. Like I said, the only thing that would probably be the biggest threat to him would be the herons. The the herons would probably be the only real challenge for Kong because of their flight capability, and that they also attack in pairs. Like, they always fight in pairs, so Kong fighting two of them at once would be a little difficult for him. But yeah, I have no doubt he would probably, you know, of course Kong likes to make tools, so I could see him like grabbing a tree and just ripping the barks off and just Babe Ruthin that heron across the face, or grabbing a large stone and just throwing it at the sky. That was actually like just that thought in my head of like Kong fighting the herons was kind of the idea and like the preface for this video to be made. I was just like, wouldn't that be funny? So that's kind of why we're here. Anyway, so what else? Now let's move on to the big thing. The people of Amphibia. The frogs, the toads, the salamander, you know, the newts and salamanders. That's the big thing here. That is the biggest change, because I don't think they would see Kong as a god. Some of them may seem as like a unintentional protector for fighting off the herons or other animals, and Kong wouldn't eat them. Like, Kong wouldn't see the frogs all, because I think he would know from Skull Island, frog mean bad taste, or toad mean bad taste, or I think he would like instinctually think that the people of Amphibia would be like poisonous to him and make him sick, so he wouldn't try to eat them. But they wouldn't worship him as a god like the Iwis would, or the Skull Islanders. So the big thing is, while some, I think the frogs would definitely see Kong as like a protector or just this giant creature to avoid. Just don't piss him off, he'll leave you alone. Whereas the toads would want to use him as a weapon or see him as an opponent to conquer. Same with King and Darius and the rest of Newtopia. They would see Kong as a threat to their plans. So I could see like the Toad army trying to defeat Kong or kill him and like take his skull and mount it on the wall. The Kingdom of Newtopia would be more or less building siege weapons or retrofitting siege weapons to combat Kong and beat him, essentially. Like, that's the whole that would be the big thing. Like, that would be the big major difference, is that Kong wouldn't really have anyone like on his back. Like, the only people who wouldn't be on his back would be the frogs, mostly because A, they're like the bottom of the food chain, and B, I don't think they would bother him, really. Like, I could definitely see the frogs especially like looking at Kong and being like, he's alright. He's a lot different from, you know... It'd also be kind of fun because everyone's so used to being attacked by reptiles and birds and, you know, arachnids and other large animals, vertebrate or invertebrate animals. That would be just kind of fun to see, like, this huge hulking mammal just strutting around Amphibia, eating veggies or killing herons and eating them. It's I think it would just be like, is that a monkey? Yeah, but like I said, there would be like no love for Kong because of I think his size would make people nervous. His just aggression and just the fact that he could easily, like, the moment anyone from Amphibia sees him like take down a pair of herons, they're like, oh, that thing's gotta go. That thing doesn't belong here. We need to take care of that problem at once. We really need to kill that thing ASAP. So, yeah. Like I said, this is just a fun video I decided to do. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this? Do you think Kongs could survive on Amphibia? Or better put, do you think Amphibia could survive Kong living in their world? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.